You're listening to the Lone Star Gridiron Sports Network.
The Calallen Wildcats weekly press conference is brought to you by the Calallen Touchdown Booster Club. The Touchdown Booster Club exists to support and promote the Calallen High School football program by uniting students, parents, coaches, and the community.
All right, everybody join me in welcoming Coach Charlie Reeve from Calallen. Coach, how are things today?
It's good. Good. Had a good day of practice this morning and getting ready for another big game.
Good. Well, talk to me about that Carroll game. If you believe sports writers, they were all shocked by it. You, of course, said, Carroll's a much better team than people are thinking. Talk me through that game.
Well, like you said, I mean, tip your hat to them. I thought they had a good plan and executed well. And so, great job by Carroll and Coach Nevin. I thought they did a good job. For us, it was kind of a tale of two halves. We were outscored 24-0 in the first half, and then second half, we outscored them 21-3. And first half really came down to execution. And as we go back and every Saturday or every the day after the game and assess what why we either won or lost the game. For us, we had too many mental busts in the first half, some things that we can control. And it really came down to if you look at the situational stuff. We've got we were 3 of 16 on third downs, and 10 of those were third and longs. Which anytime third and longs are hard to convert, and so we've got to do a better job, on first and second down of staying on schedule. But I was really proud of the way our kids, came out in the second half. I mean, we took the ball down, scored first drive, and got a stop. And like I said, we battled back, and within a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, gave ourselves a chance to win at the end. Obviously didn't get it done, but like I told you guys, before, I mean, we're still a work in progress, and from a coaching staff and from myself, we gotta make sure we're putting our kids in the best situation for success, and we gotta get them better, and that starts with me. So it's a new week, and we got another big challenge this week.
Yeah, definitely. And talk to me about that second half shift. Was that the chess game of coaches making adjustments, or was it waking kids up? What was it that changed? Because, like you said, it was night and day difference. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it was, as far as waking our kids up. I thought our kids were ready to play, and I thought we played with a lot of energy. In the first half, and really, again, we didn't play well offensively the first half, and we got down the red zone, didn't punch it in, and then defensively, it's not that we played bad on defense. We gave up a handful of big plays, and unfortunately, on those big plays, we're scoring plays. But as far as get off the field downs, third down, fourth down, we held them. They were 2 of 12 on third and fourth down. So I thought our defense really played well on those downs, but, we just got to limit the big plays. But I just think in the second half, we executed better, and we were able to get inside and really kind of talk through some things. And it wasn't like our game plan changed all that much. I mean, there was a couple adjustments that we made, but I just think that we executed better in the second half, and we were able to hit on some big pass plays that, we had some open in the first half, just didn't connect on. And so, I think it just, came down to we executed better in the second half.
Got it. Well, let's talk about this week. What is the focus there in practice?
Well, it's the same as it always is, to get better. And, it's, one thing we talked about on Saturday, on Friday after the game was, you're always getting better, you're getting worse, you never stay the same. And this, sometimes it takes a loss and some, to kind of help you realize, the mistakes, that you're making. And so, each and every week for us, it's always, it starts out with us, getting better. But as far as the challenges that Rockport presents, this is an offense that we haven't seen up to this point. They run the slot T and the slot T's, it's a beast, within itself. And so, obviously defensively, we got a big challenge. And, not only, when you're facing teams that slot T or, anybody that runs this kind of offense, it's not just getting your defense, ready for it, but I think the toughest thing is just, being able to replicate the look, because you're having to teach your scout teams how to run that offense. And so it definitely presents a lot of challenges that maybe, that you don't run into, on other weeks. But, offensively, for us, it's, we've got to continue to establish the run. We got to clean up some things in the run game, and then we got to continue to work, as far as being efficient in the pass game. But, so, as far as our approach, never changes. We got to continue to get better. But, schematically, there's some things that Rockport does that we got to make sure we get ready for.
Yeah. And speaking of that, on your defense, when they see a completely different offense like that, how good so far do you think the kids are at adjusting their reads? And because, it's almost like playing a different game for them.
It is. And, that's what makes it tough. We spent a little bit of time on this in the summer. So it's not completely foreign. But it is, definitely different than anything that we've seen up to this point. And so, I think what it really requires is, to have disciplined eyes and everybody making sure that you're doing your job, and you can't get lulled to sleep. You got to be disciplined each play. And, cause the first time you take your eyes off your key and you're not doing your job, bad things happen. And so, yeah, it's I think our kids are adapting well. I think we've had, 2 good practices so far, but it's, you can't replicate the speed of how they do it, and yeah. So, we're watching a lot of film and, trying to get the best look we can from our scout team, but it's definitely a big challenge.
Yeah. And you mentioned last week that you got yourself into 3rd and long several times offensively. What do you see against Rockport Fulton that maybe can get you into 3rd and short or 2nd and short? Yeah.
Well, for us, I mean, we always chart, 3rd down efficiency, but we also chart 1st down efficiency, and our goal on 1st down is to get 4 yards, at least. And, for us, we got to stay on schedule. We got to be efficient 1st and 2nd down. We put ourselves behind the chains a few times, whether it be, TFLs or, sacks. And we've got to avoid the negative yards plays. And a lot of those TFLs and sacks were just blown assignments. And those are things that we can control. And so, I don't care who you are, if you live in 3rd and long, your percentages of converting are not very high, so we've got to stay in 3rd and short, 3rd and medium, and then we got to create more explosives, and find ways to to use our strengths and get our guys out in space. So, that's definitely a priority.
Definitely. And as far as the health of the kids, how are things looking?
At this point, we're kind of getting into the grind of the season. Yeah. I don't think anybody's 100% healthy at this point, any teams, but I think we're in good shape. We got some guys that are banged up, and but I think that's probably the case for any team. So I think we're not in bad shape, from a health standpoint.
Excellent. Well, Coach, best of luck this week against Rockport Fulton, and look forward to talking with you again next week.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Did you play Texas high school football? If you did, you're part of an elite group, the Brotherhood of Texas High School Football. All football players, past and present, who have ever suited up in the Lone Star State are eligible. Go to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood. And thank you for the part you played in the greatest sport in the greatest state.